Good evening. Welcome to the Hilton Meet the Candidates night. My name is Steve Daw. I'm from BOCES 2 Communication Services, and I will be the moderator of tonight's event. This year, the annual budget vote and school board election will be held on Tuesday, May 20th, and the polls will be open from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. at Parma Town Hall. I'd like to take the opportunity to ask everyone in the room here to silence cell phones to minimize distractions during the event. Serving as a member of the board is an honor and responsibility. Hilton entrusts its board with very important duties. Board members must provide for the education of the community's children. They must see that the property and finances of the district are properly managed, and they must ensure that the many laws governing education are followed. The community elects their school board members. They are local officials who serve without pay. This year, we have 3 candidates running for Hilton board, and we have 3 seats available. In ballot order, here on your screen, if you're watching on the stream, is Mark Hilberger, Amanda Diedrich, and Nancy Pickering. Tonight's program will last up to 60 minutes long. Only the candidates attending the forum may speak. Each candidate will give an opening statement of up to 2 minutes long. After that, I will ask questions one at a time, beginning with 3 questions prepared in advance by the event planners. Audience members here in attendance can submit questions by writing a question on a note card. We have 5 different categories and different colored note cards. We have education and instruction, budget and taxes, board administration relations, board community relations, and board oversight, including budget policy governance. Submitted questions will be asked of every candidate. Every candidate will get a chance to answer every question. When there is 30 seconds left in your 2-minute time period to answer a question or give a statement, I'll hold up the 30-second caution sign, and then when we get to the end of your time, I'll give you verbal notice. All right? So with that, we had a drawing right before to see who would start opening statements, and we are going to start with Nancy Pickering. Nancy.
Great. Thank you very much. Hi, my name is Nancy Pickering, and I am completing my 4th 3-year term on the Board of Education. I have 3 children who have graduated from Hilton, and my family has lived in Greece for 27 years. I am the program director for the Monroe County School Boards Association, providing professional development for all Monroe County school boards. As a Hilton School Board member, I have served as president, vice president, and chair of the audit committee. I have served on various board-level committees such as policy, district improvement, technology, 5-year planning, and budget committees. I also participate as a board member in search committees for principals and directors at that level, program review committees, and ad hoc committees. My belief about education has not changed over the years. Students come first, all students matter, let teachers teach, put in the work, just getting by is never enough, celebrate the successes and learn from the mistakes. I look forward to serving the Hilton community as a member of the Board of Education.
Thank you, Nancy. Next, with the opening statement, is Mark Hilberger.
Good evening, and thank you all for being here tonight. It has been an honor and a privilege to serve on the Hilton Board of Education for over 9 years, including the past 3 as board president. During that time, I have had the opportunity to work alongside dedicated community members, educators, and leaders to navigate complex challenges and make decisions that put students first. This experience has deepened my commitment to public education and strengthened my understanding of what it takes to support a thriving school district. I am proud of the progress we've made, and I know there is still important work ahead. The children of this district are my greatest motivation for continuing to serve. As both a parent and a classroom teacher, I understand firsthand the evolving challenges in education. I believe my experience can continue to help the board build upon the excellent programs and systems we have already in place. I hope my unique dual perspective will support the board as it addresses a wide range of issues affecting our community, our children, and our counting on us. I will continue working to ensure our students' voices are heard. Every student has unique needs and must be recognized for them to thrive. By listening to their perspectives and building meaningful relationships, we can support them in navigating the pressures they face. Our students are our greatest asset. I believe I'm well qualified to serve for three key reasons. First, I'm the parent of three high school students, Hilton High School graduates. I'm trying to rush here.
Take your
Carolyn,
time.
Nicholas, and Abigail. They have their own insight. Their experiences have given me insight in what do they truly need. I've been a classroom teacher for over 25 years, and finally, I've been on the board for over 9 years, so I understand the responsibilities and the impact our decisions have. We face real challenges, and we need experienced leaders that understand the role of public education. Thank you for your time and support.
Thank you, Mark. Amanda, your opening words, please.
First, I want to thank everyone for coming out tonight. I know there's a lot going on this time of year, so it's really appreciated. My name is Amanda Diedrich. I've been a member of the Hilton community for almost 9 years. My husband is a 2008 Hilton grad, and our daughter is in second grade at Village Elementary. When we decided to stay in Rochester after college, we knew we wanted to live in Hilton to raise our family, and I'm very glad we did. This is a wonderful community. We've loved the schools, the teachers, and all the opportunities our daughter has had. I'm happy to serve and represent the community I've come to love so much as a board member, ensure all our students have access to a well-rounded education, and I promise to act with integrity, be welcoming and affirming to all students, and support our teachers and staff to the best of my ability. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all. We will now start our question and answer portion. Again, each candidate will answer each question. You each have 2 minutes to answer each question. So our first of the prepared questions, the Board of Education, and this is for Mark. Mark, you start this one. Board of Education membership carries with it a certain level of responsibility. How have you been involved in education, and how would this translate to developing policy and a budget as a board member?
Well, first and foremost, I'm a math teacher. I've been a math teacher at Greece Arcadia for over 25 years. So I bring to the table a deep understanding of how educational policy directly impacts students, staff, and classroom instruction. In addition to my teaching role, I serve as a teacher leader. I am actively involved in our school's Culture and Climate Committee, and I advise our daily morning live stream, Titan TV. These roles have given me valuable insight into school operations, student engagement, and the importance of positive school culture. I have also served on the Hilton Board of Education for the past 9 years, many of which I was also in leadership roles. This experience has equipped me with the knowledge needed to evaluate programs, set priorities, and ensure that resources are allocated in a way that supports student success. I understand how to align budget decisions with long-term goals, and I'm committed to making thoughtful, informed decisions that reflect the needs of both students and staff. My background in education and my time on the board allow me to view policy and budgeting not just from a governance perspective, but also from the lens of the classroom teacher. I am dedicated to balancing fiscal responsibility with a strong commitment to high-quality educational opportunities for all students.
Thank you, Mark. Amanda, you're next with this question. I'll repeat the question. The Board of Education membership carries with it a certain level of responsibility. How have you been involved in education, and how would this translate to developing a policy and a budget as a board member?
Although I don't work in education, I've gone through the public school system as a student and am now a parent of a student in the public school system. And when I first graduated college, I worked as a reporter and covered the Webster and Wayne Central School District board meetings. I've seen and experienced what works, what doesn't, boards who collaborate well and consider the needs of all students and families, and boards whose meetings got heated due to poor budgetary practices and who didn't address these negative events with transparency or integrity. I know and uphold the purpose of public education as a public good, which would guide in fulfilling that purpose with where the budget goes and what would most benefit our kids. I want to help develop policy that helps students achieve their best and afford them all equal opportunities, regardless of any potential barriers.
Thank you, Amanda. Nancy, the question to you. Board of Education membership carries with it a certain level of responsibility. How have you been involved in education, and how would this translate to developing policy and a budget as a board member?
Great, thank you. I am currently serving my 12th year on the Hilton Board of Education. I am the chair of the board level audit committee and have served for a number of years both on the audit and policy committee. I also serve on various building level budget committees, which is where the work of developing a responsive budget is done. I have found the work of the committees to be thoughtful, focused, and balanced between the needs of the district as a whole and the students directly. My paid work as program director for the Monroe County School Boards Association positions me to have the latest information, legislation, and SED information available to help inform my work on the Board of Education.
Thank you very much. We'll move on to our second question now. For this one, we start the responses with you, Amanda. This question is, good working relationships are important for the Board of Education and the school district. How do you see yourself working with fellow board members and the superintendent of schools?
All right. I see myself working respectfully and professionally with the other board members as well as the administration. I didn't mention this earlier, I'm a technical writer for a software company. So I write technical instructions and try to translate what developers write to something that's usable for our end users. I love working in a collaborative environment, learning from others and asking questions. And I think our different backgrounds and strengths will help us come together and best represent the community as a whole. I know I have a lot to learn as the new kid on the board, and I'm happy to put in the time and effort to make educated decisions that will benefit as many students as possible.
Okay, thank you. Nancy, your turn, same question. Good working relationships are important for the Board of Education and the school district. How do you see yourself working with fellow board members and the superintendent of schools?
Thank you. One of the things I enjoy about being on the board is that every member brings a unique perspective. I'm a team player and know that Dr. Krasorek has developed a strong administrative team that provides our students with a great education. Our students are our future leaders and community members. Working with the superintendent and administrative team, the board also provides support and professional development to our teachers and staff, creating a great working environment. This has resulted in the district being named a best workplace for 10 years.
Terrific, thank you. Our next question, we start with Nancy for this one. Oh, Mark, sorry, I almost forgot you. Good working relationships, this is your question now. Good working relationships are important to the Board of Education and the school district. How do you see yourself working with fellow board members and the superintendent of schools?
It has been a tremendous honor to be elected to the Hilton Board of Education. Serving on the board is a significant responsibility, and much of that work happens outside of our regular Tuesday night meetings. For a board to function effectively, its members must trust one another and have a strong collaborative relationship with the superintendent and his cabinet. At times, the work can be challenging and even contentious. The board in which I lead right now reflects the broader society. It includes a range of beliefs and perspectives. That's why we need members who are willing to listen with empathy, assume good intentions, engage in courageous conversations, and work to build bridges. We need individuals who are committed to coming together for the good of our students and community. Throughout my time as a board member, teacher, and parent, I have demonstrated the ability to bring people to common ground and lead successful collaborative teams. I remain committed to fostering unity and moving our district forward.
Thank you, Mark. Now we're to Nancy to start the third question. In recent years, the Hilton Central School District has distinguished itself in many areas of academic excellence, earning state and national recognition. What role should the Board of Education play in encouraging and promoting these efforts?
Celebrate, celebrate, celebrate. Hold all of our students to the highest standards and support teachers, staff, and coaches who are the frontline support for our students. Continue to lead by example in all we do, whether that is in-depth review of our program offerings, looking at the data and student outcomes in academics, or looking to the future to see how best the board can support the work of the district in setting up our students for success.
Okay, thank you. The same question to you, Mark. In recent years, the Hilton Central School District has distinguished itself in many areas of academic excellence, earning state and national recognition. What role should the Board of Education play in encouraging and promoting these efforts?
The Board of Education plays a critical role in encouraging and promoting academic excellence by providing strong strategic leadership, ensuring that the necessary resources and support are in place. It is our job to be the governance team. It's not to manage the district. So in a sense, we kind of need to stay out of the way a little bit, but be there in a governance role. First and foremost, the board must advocate for continued investment in innovative programs, professional development, and educational resources that support both students and staff. This includes aligning the budget to prioritize areas of growth and excellence while ensuring all students have the opportunity to succeed. As Nancy said earlier, additionally, the board should celebrate achievements, not only to highlight the hard work of students and staff, but also to inspire continued excellence across the district. Promoting a culture of recognition helps build morale and encourages further engagement from the entire community. The board also has a responsibility to ensure the district's vision for academic excellence is clear and that all decisions from policy to budgeting are aligned with that vision. By supporting a collaborative environment between the board, administrators, and educators, we can continue to build on our success and create even more opportunities for all students to excel.
Thank you, Mark. Same question to you, Amanda. In recent years, the Hilton Central School District has distinguished itself in many areas of academic excellence, earning state and national recognition. What role should the Board of Education play in encouraging and promoting these efforts?
All right. I have noticed that the board does highlight groups at their meetings who have received outside recognition and having groups present their talents. There's a lot to celebrate and recognize in this Hilton School District. I'm always impressed with the amount of events and the level of abilities in sports, arts, music, science, and robotics. It speaks highly of the district that I've met multiple teachers who have taught my husband and are still here, some of whom my daughter has even had. And I think continuous evaluation on areas of improvement and how we can plan for long-term goals and achievements will be incredibly important going forward. We need to be able to be proactive and flexible as things continue to change in education and with how students have changed.
Okay, thank you very much. All right, Mark, we're going to start with you on this question.
Okay.
In your view, what has the district done well over the last 5 years, and where do you see areas for opportunity going forward?
Well, we've had a lot go on in the last few years. And I think what we've done well is we've addressed those situations in a way that has really focused on rebuilding the community and the culture of the district, because that's what makes Hilton so special. So even though we've had some challenges, we've been reflective on those challenges, and we've really pushed hard to listen to students, to parents, to community members, listen to their feedback, to chart our path out of all of that stuff. So I'm very proud of the way the board, as well as the cabinet and the staff and everybody here has pulled together through all of that stuff. So I think that is something to be celebrated. As we move forward, I think we're going to continue to have challenges, and I think we need to not let go of that work of what we did to rebuild culture and community. If we lose that, that's when you start to see cracks. So we need to keep laser-like focus on the culture, the community. That's what draws people to this district. The hometown feeling, the big Friday night football games. That's what people love about Hilton. And we have so many people that live in this community, that work in this community. Keeping that culture work going and building upon what we've done so far is what we need to continue to focus on.
Okay, thank you, Mark. Amanda, same question to you. I'll read again. In your view, what has the district done well over the last 5 years, and what areas of opportunity do you see ahead?
Well, my daughter's been in the district. This is her 4th year, so we've been through definitely a lot in the last few years as a district. I have appreciated the board being open about those challenges, transparent, and trying to find a way to be proactive and prevent things from happening in the future. As for areas of improvement, as a parent, I'm honestly incredibly happy with the district. We love the teachers. We love that we know what our daughter's learning. We get papers every day home. constant contact with our teacher through the Remind app. And honestly, I know there are areas for improvement, and I'm happy to explore those. But overall, as a parent, I know we're very happy to be here. So.
Okay, thank you. Nancy, same question to you. In your view, what has a district done well over the last 5 years, and where do you see as opportunities for improvement in the future?
I think the district has articulated, especially through our cadet intentional values, what matters to our district. I've participated in many of the, sessions on developing strategy and working points. I think our district is very transparent in terms of why we are doing what we're doing. There's a culture of respect and professionalism. I think opportunities going forward is we need to continue to celebrate our successes, reflect and improve upon our practices, and be receptive to the community needs. I think we do that very well. And most importantly is to keep the students at the forefront of all of our actions. Thanks.
Thank you very much. Next question, we'll start with Amanda. So in an era of limited financial resources and in a time when budgets have to be done every year, there can be difficult budget decisions. How do you approach making those decisions and balancing among many different needs in a district?
Well, I know that there is a big possibility that we will have tough budget decisions in the future. I think what's important is listening to all stakeholders and keeping in mind why we're here and what the purpose of the school district is, and that's to educate our students. As a taxpayer, I'm in favor of working in the tax cap and only raising them beyond that if it is a dire need. But as a parent with a student in the district, I also think there's room for the students, especially the high schoolers, to have a voice, as they're the ones who see the funds being used or removed. No one activity is more important than another, so I hope we can keep things equal and meet all students' needs and promote good outcomes.
Thank you. Nancy, the same question to you. Again, in an era of limited financial resources that we all live in, you got to make a budget every year. What are the factors that you take into account? How do you make those difficult decisions when it comes to satisfying a lot of needs?
So the goal is first to keep any cuts or any cuts away from students. And our administrative team is very good at reflecting on the needs of the district and looking to the future of what our students will need and how to staff to that. Our board is very cognizant of the community need and what the community is thinking. We do try to concentrate on communicating with stakeholders. And another element at the board level is to advocate at with our local legislators and at the state level to make sure that the needs of education, public education, are front and center, and the budgetary needs of a public education is very much a priority, and we let our legislators know that too.
Okay, thank you. Mark Hilberger, same question to you. In an era of limited financial resources, difficult budget decisions come up, and how do you balance that, all of the many needs in a district? How do you approach making that decision?
The first thing that comes to mind when I think of all this is having the right people in spots that are going to make these decisions, right? So it kind of ends with us a little bit, but there's so much work that goes into that budget. So we have the best of the best that are running that process for our district. So I think first and foremost, you want the right people in positions in your districts making those decisions before it even gets to a board. You have people, we have a cabinet that thinks creatively and thinks out of the box for solutions to problems, from if it's not the busing shortage, trouble with getting bus drivers, to getting subs. They're always thinking differently about how can I solve that problem, either without any funding increase, or is there a creative way that we can get funding through grants. I just think we have a cabinet and a leadership team that goes above and beyond to even shield the board from having to make some of those hard decisions, because they have done everything they can to protect the cuts hitting kids. So first and foremost is really having a great team. And as Nancy said, we try to keep those decisions away from hurting kids on the front line. And we, you know, and I don't want to repeat a lot of things Nancy said. She's the budget lady, so I think I'm done.
Okay, thank you very much. Next question, we start with Nancy. Working on a board is a collaborative effort. You collaborate with your fellow board members, with administration, you communicate with the community. What personal skills, what do you think you bring personally that is a strong suit to those types of discussions? What about you makes you good in those situations?
I think my skill set is in putting in the work. As a board member, there's a lot of information that we are provided with, that we need to digest and work with, making sure that when I show up at the board table, I have, reviewed all the information, I'm aware of what's going on, being able to ask good questions of the administration, and just reflecting on the so many moving parts of the district often go unnoticed. You have your bus drivers are the ones seeing the kids first thing in the morning. You have your teachers and support staff. You have your lunch ladies. You have buildings and ground. All these different elements. I think part of my skill set is being able to recognize all those different elements that go into basically it's a $100 million business, and being able to step back and understand that in a governance role, it's not our job as board members to micromanage any of that particular area. I think my contributions are, being present in the district and supporting our district.
Terrific, thank you. Mark, same question to you. What skill set do you bring to all those many interactions you have with board members, administrators, community members?
Well, I would have never answered this way like 15 years ago, so I'm just going to put that out there first. Because I was the guy that when went and took classes at MCC, I would get an old school newspaper. I would sit and read my newspaper and hide in the corner because I didn't want to talk to anybody. So I'm going to say that the thing I bring to the table is my interpersonal skills, which I've worked very hard at this second half of my career here. I think bringing a personal touch to things, if it's with community members, with fellow board members, with staff, I work really hard at, and I touched on it earlier, just bringing a personal touch to everything. I know there's been at times where we have some community members that may feel frustrated, right? And I've taken it upon myself to build some personal relationships with some of those people. And I think that goes a long way to helping them kind of understand why we do things the way we have to do. So a lot of hard work there with some community members, also with my fellow board members. There's 7 of us. We don't always agree, but I think I've worked really hard to create a group of people that can be respectful to each other, that can talk openly to each other, that can have frank conversations, and work together as a group. And I don't think you see that a lot in our world right now. A group of 7 people from all different walks of life kind of focused on one goal, and that's the kids of this district. So Nancy talked about a whole other side of the job. I think what I bring to the table for our group is this being able to work together and build bridges and build a team.
Okay, thank you. Amanda, same question to you. What about you personally, or the skill set you developed works well to accomplish the goals of collaborative environments in a boardroom, in administration, in working in the community?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I graduated from St. Bonaventure University with a journalism degree. So a lot of my soft skills, I guess, would come from that. I'm very willing to listen to all viewpoints. I love asking questions. Sometimes I annoy people with my questions. I'm happy to research any issue that's, on the table. And I'm willing to use my connections to find, the issues and how someone feels about something that affects them. And right now in my job, I have to communicate in a way that anybody can understand, so I can very easily distill something that's hard to understand and hopefully explain it so everybody can take in that information. So, yeah.
Okay, thank you. Next question, we start with Mark on this one. What are the outputs that matter most to you? How will you be accountable to them? How do you measure success for the district and for you as a board member?
I think there's two measures. I think the biggest measure, and because we are in the education business, would be high school graduation rate. Maybe even looking as deep as, just speak to my own children, for instance. My daughter is a second semester sophomore already at RIT. And she's in her first year, so she left with all these credits. So that's another data point. Do we have kids that are graduating that are already ahead of the game when they get to college? What's our graduation rate? Do we have kids that are going off and getting careers? That's the big measure, is how successful are our kids in whatever path they choose once they graduate. And then I think another big one is how people are feeling. I don't want to call it like a satisfaction survey or something like that, but what's the vibe? What's the feeling of the community? My kids at school will probably laugh at me because I use the word vibe. But how's the community feeling about us, right? We're in the education business. We're here to educate kids. We're here to get kids to graduate and be successful. But if everybody feels miserable while that's happening, that's a problem, right? So we want to make sure people feel good about this place. We want a great culture that's producing great kids that are going out and doing great things. Those are my outputs.
Thank you, Mark. Amanda, you're next on it. The question again, what are the outputs that matter to you? How will you be accountable for them as a school board member? Meaning, how do you measure success for the district, and how do you measure success for you as a board member?
Well, I think probably the biggest thing would be passing a budget every year. A lot of work goes into that. There's a lot of things to consider, and it's a months-long process. So I think successfully passing a budget is probably the biggest measure. I know I personally care about the graduation rate. The teacher retention rate, I think, is incredibly important. We want to keep good teachers in the district, and making sure they're happy is incredibly important for our kids as well. Literacy rates are something I look up as, a parent of an elementary student. She's ways off from graduation, so I'm not as concerned with that, but I want to make sure that kids are learning to read and read well and at grade level. And again, I'll agree with Mark, community vibe is incredibly important. We want to make sure people are happy, that there's a good culture, and that there's support for school events and football games in the fall. I think is a great way to measure what people are feeling and how they're supporting the district.
Okay, thank you. Nancy, same question to you. What are the outputs that matter most to you? How will you be accountable for them as a school board member? How do you measure success for the district and for you as a board member?
So in terms of measures of success, of course, high school graduation rates. At each level in a student's career, are they hitting benchmarks? And are we as a district providing whatever supports they may need for social, emotional health, for literacy, OT, PT, Just the fact that, we can provide free breakfast and lunch, that is a success because it impacts our students directly. You also need to look at how are our teachers and staff doing. We're at labor peace with our unions, our culture. We've been working on our culture, and it's very a positive culture. And then you also need to consider the feedback from community. As a board member, often we only hear from someone with a gripe about a particular issue. And we don't get to hear all that success. You have to be out on the fields, you have to be at the events to hear that proud parent talking about their kid. I think our success is when we are seen as the center of our community here in Hilton.
Okay, thank you very much. All right, this will be the last question before our closing statement. So we'll start with you, Amanda, for this question. And then after this question, we'll get into the closing statements for everybody. So last question, you may have heard this before in past years, but this is one I always like to ask. It's your chance. There's a new family moving into the area. They're trying to decide where to live, choosing between school districts. Should I be here? Should I be there? What would you do to sell someone on coming to Hilton? It's your chance. Bring new families in. How do you pitch them?
All right. Well, my husband and I were talking about this, 10 years ago, and a lot of it was the quality of the school district. I knew I didn't personally want to live in my hometown. I went to Wade Central, and it's a fine school district. I got a great education there, but we did lose a lot of teachers just to districts that paid better or had better working environments. It was kind of a thing, like, oh, you're going to Webster. Okay, well, thank you. So I think what really attracted us to Hilton was because we knew it was a great school district. The tax rate was very reasonable compared to the rest of Monroe County. And we have really formed a community here. We have family here, and I love going to all the events. There's so much to do. We are never bored. Our daughter is she is like our community, we call her the mayor. She knows everybody, and she's our connection to the community. School events, we're always running around with friends. So I think it is just a really nice place to live, to raise your family, and it's very reasonably priced as well. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Thank you. Nancy, same question to you. Family or group of families considering on moving into this Monroe County area, greater Rochester region, how do you sell them on Hilton as the place to be?
So, looking back on our own experience all those years ago when, you're meeting parents at a playground and, hey, how are the schools? Or, what's there to do, that sort of thing. The most prominent thing I would point out is the number of teachers who not only work here, they live here, their kids go to school here. And that tells you a tremendous amount about their pride in their workplace, the level of education. I mean, this is teachers with their own kids. And here in Hilton, we have a large population of staff, teachers, administrators who actually live in the district. The other thing I would promote is our competitive level in athletics, cheer, wrestling, soccer, music and arts, the pride of Hilton. They are, the marching band is always in the parade, at Apple Fest, that sort of thing. But then there's other things like Model UN, which Hilton has hosted for over 20 years. Just the pride of the community in the school community is just incredible. Never mind housing and, our tax rate is certainly reasonable compared to other districts. If you want to do well with a school district, the bang for the buck here in Hilton is great.
Okay, thank you very much. Mark, same question to you. You've got families considering many options here in Monroe County, the greater Rochester region, to move in. What would you do to sell them on Hilton? Why is Hilton the place?
Well, first and foremost, I would say it's the people that make this district go on a daily basis. From the superintendent to the cabinet, to buildings and grounds, transportation, food service, teachers, teaching assistants, security. I mean, we have great people. And I don't say that lightly. I mean, I've worked in many different organizations, and rarely do you find an organization where you can point to the people leading all the things and they're all amazing, but they're all amazing here. And you got a strong board too. I mean, we're a pretty good group of people. We have done a hell of a job over the last couple of years. And I don't say that lightly because we've all, a board that isn't tight like we are, the community starts to feel it and it starts to seep out in the district. So you got strong leadership in the district, you got a strong board, you got a staff that's second to none. And that's going to keep Hilton moving forward and as we move on. And as Nancy said, you got amazing opportunities for kids. There's so many extracurriculars, athletics, there's something for everyone. Your child will find a niche here. They'll find their group. So you've got a great place, you've got great people, you've got tons of opportunities, and the community is behind everything that happens here. Even through all of our rough patches, the community is 100% behind the school district here.
Okay, thank you very much. We've come to the end of the question and answer portion, so now each candidate will be able to make a closing statement of not more than 2 minutes. We will continue with where we left off, so that means you, Nancy Pickering, you go first with your closing statement. Before we hear the closing statements, I want to remind everyone here and watching on the stream that another reminder, it's May 20th, Tuesday, May 20th is the vote. It's from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. at the Parma Town Hall, and you will vote on the budget and you will vote on candidates. So, Nancy, with that, it's your floor.
Great. Thank you everybody for showing up tonight. Thank you for this opportunity to serve my community and our school district. The role of public education in forming citizens of the future is critical to the success of our country. I'm honored to be a part of that very important work. Please go out and vote and support the budget. Thank you.
Thank you, Nancy. Mark, you are next up with closing statement, please.
Well, I didn't prepare a closing statement, but I'm going to be honest. I thought long and hard about running again, and I was all over the board for quite a while. I think at one point I told Nancy I was out, but I kept going back and forth. My wife didn't really want me to run, but there's just something about Hilton, and I love being a part of it. You know, at one point I tried to get a job here. That didn't work out. That was probably for the better. The other candidate was better. So I thought, let's run for the board. It's been an amazing experience. It's helped me personally grow in a lot of different ways. It's a great place. It's an honor to serve, and I think I have a proven track record, and I look forward to serving 3 more years.
Okay, thank you, Mark. Amanda, it is your floor now for your closing statement.
Thank you all for coming out tonight to meet with us. We all love the district and the students and want to see its success continue and improve, so thank you for that. I know there are 3 of us running for 3 spots, and I look forward to learning from the members of the board so I can best serve the community and our students. I am proud to be a member of the Hilton community, and I'm excited to continue carrying out the improvements this board has made and make new pathways to improvement. As a board member, I promise to be transparent and open to hearing all community members. You can find me at most village school events, events around town, and we're almost always at the home football games in the fall. Feel free to strike up a conversation or reach out. I look forward to your involvement, and I hope to be an asset to the district and our mission. And I hope everyone comes out on May 20th to vote for the budget.
Thank you, Amanda. Thank you to all three of our candidates tonight for participating, and thank you to Superintendent Dr. Casey Kosorik, District Clerk Michelle McHugh, Communications Director Dave Yates for your support organizing this event and all that you do for the district and for these candidates. 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. on Tuesday, May 20th is the day to vote, Parma Town Hall. Thank you all for watching and attending, and have a good night.